Freedom Renegade Radio podcast episode 8. Can't believe we're already at episode 8. We're
kind of flying through. By that went
we're
quick.
We're flying
dude.
through these things.
That's insane.
Yeah,
it's funny how fast time goes when you're not in prison.
Okay,
it's the truth, man.
There's in the Math Hoffa podcast, My Expert Opinion. There's this dude, and he went to prison for like 15 years, and they count how many times per episode he tells people he went to prison. That literally every episode there'll be multiple times where he brings it up and brings it up and brings it up.
How can you not bring it up?
It's a part of your life, right?
It's not. It's an intense part of your fucking life. Yep. 15 years, dude, I couldn't even fucking fathom, dude. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine. That would be. Oh my God! I don't even. So much, dude.
They just fired him here recently because he was doing some weird shit. But
who is he?
Oh,
who are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't hear me?
Matt something?
Math Hoffa. We talk about you ask this every time. My Expert Opinion. It's a podcast, the hip hop one. The one guy followed us from his podcast.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I've told you like 5 or 6 times. It's
okay.
I think it's hilarious sometimes.
You know
how many times I got to tell you the same story. Even today when we got the check from CD Baby, you're like, is some of that money mine? I'm like, how many times do I got to tell you? You get a percentage every time.
Yeah, like I said, I told you.
You some of that money mine?
Like I saw, I didn't know if you were, because you cut me in on that one.
On the streaming money, yeah.
Like I said, I forgot. I just wanted to ask, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks, though. Always nice to get a fucking cut of a check.
That's our biggest check yet.
Was it really?
It is.
That's cool.
Yeah, by $100.
We just got to get those.
They're coming about every 3 weeks now.
We got to get those streams up. So wouldn't it be crazy if people got to be getting those checks?
Bigger artists,
daily,
yeah, dude. I mean,
don't you think?
I think that
maybe not. I don't know, daily, whatever they set it on, right?
Yeah, but fuck, I lost my train of thought right there. Go ahead, say whatever you're gonna say.
I would just think the big artists that are doing the same thing, like Russ. How fast do you think he gets those fucking checks, dude? They got to come if at the precipice that he sets. You got to hit it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Unless he sets it high.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Because I think I was looking at how many views we have altogether just on Spotify alone. And we're close to 600,000. And there's people that probably Eminem has over 1 billion streams. So you could break that down into, dude, actually, let me pivot from something. A new law just passed for streaming. They have to pay
1 cent,
1 cent per stream. But they didn't say,
bitch.
From what I saw, I don't know if it could go into action in 5 years. They probably set a date. It may not just start. They're not going to backlog that shit. They're not going to just be like, oh,
no,
you know what?
I don't think they backlog it.
But my album's coming out July 26th.
Oh.
My album actually releases, for anybody listening, July 26th. I'm going to do some pre-saves and stuff. You can do the pre-saves July 8th. And I'll let everybody know that listen to this podcast either on TikTok or on anywhere you find us on Instagram or whatever. But you guys can pre-save it, buy it then. But yeah, so I don't know if that will fit into the new category of getting 1 cent per stream.
Yeah, I had heard about that probably like a month or two ago that they might do that.
Yeah,
it was on the books, but I'm glad that they did, dude. They only pay like 0.001 cent or some shit, like a very
it depends on each. So there's like each platform. There's there's 150 platforms.
I'm just talking about Spotify.
Yeah, each one though pays a completely different thing. Spotify's the lowest though, one of the lowest.
Really?
Yeah,
probably because they're the biggest.
One of the lowest. Yeah, I think you get like 0.007 cents or something. I can't remember what it is. It's low.
It's really sad because I've seen videos about this, but people are just like, you have the ability to release music, but because of that ability, everybody's releasing music, and that creates an atmosphere of fucking nobody's listening to anything.
No scarcity.
Yeah, exactly. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
So it's harder actually to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that would be a true statement, but all I know is this environment that we have produced our stuff in, and it has been that's something we've had to deal with. It's been hard to set yourself outside of the norm.
Yeah, and there's pluses and minuses, right? Because music is so readily available now, it makes it so we could reach a bigger audience much faster than before. But it's like when we were kids, music meant so much because it was so hard to get. And when you got one CD, you'd been waiting for forever. You listened to that fucker 100 times at least. Like I probably killed those CDs. Like probably spun them so much they got scratches and shit on them. But like when being on Napster in early days, like I would wait for mom and dad to go to sleep, get on the computer, plug the internet into the wall because it would block phone calls, and I would download as many songs as I could. And if I was lucky, I'd get 2 in a night. When I'd wake up, I'd have to wake up, set an alarm at 5 o'clock, wake up, unplug it before mom and dad got up. And then I would have enough, like throughout the week, I would have a mix of CDs that I could take with me and listen to.
And you used to sell them at school.
I did,
You
yeah.
used to hustle them, right?
Yeah,
What did you used to do?
I would just I would just at night get on the fucking computer, download a bunch of music because mom and dad were weird about us. It would block the phone line so no one could call. So I had to, route around it. But I would ask people what CDs they wanted. I'd go home and buy a bunch of burned CDs, and then I'd burn the CDs they wanted, take them to school, and hustle them out to people that I'd make mixes. I'd get Gorillaz albums or whatever they wanted. I was just selling CDs, get
You were a little hustler,
getting
dude.
a little extra lunch money. I started a lawn mowing company.
Remember
when I was a kid.
that?
I do, yeah.
Do you remember?
I was running.
Remember you
Yeah,
got
I
mad
do.
at me for the quote?
What?
Remember you got mad at me for the quote?
No, I
We
don't.
went to the neighbor's house, and this old lady said we could mow her lawn, and I said she was like, how much would you do it for? And I looked at the lawn, I was like, I don't know, like $15, and you were fucking pissed at me.
I don't remember that.
She's like, this lawn's way fucking bigger than that.
That must have been one of the last ones because
It's like,
I took mom and dad's mower. This is when this is a terrible story. I was a little kid. Keep this in mind. I was a little shithead. I took mom and dad's mower, but it mulches the lawn. So it's a driving lawnmower. I drove down there, mowed the lawn, and then it was time to go. After we got done with all of our work, we worked in the field. Then we went and cut the lawn. And it was time to go to the swimming pool. I mowed the whole lawn. It was time to go. And then she calls me and she's like, "You mulched the lawn. There's still a bunch of the cut grass, like the grass is all cut, but it's sitting on the lawn. I need it picked up." And I'm like, "I'm going swimming."
you told her that?
When we came back, she was out there raking up her lawn, dude. We never got another call from her. She didn't want our business anymore.
Fuck,
and
dude.
you undercut us anyway, so it's probably a good thing.
Was that her? Was that
Yeah,
her?
it's the same lady.
Oh,
dude.
shit, dude.
The lady in the blue house.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Oh.
All right. We had some technical difficulties, but we are right back. What were we in the middle of talking about right there?
You being an entrepreneur.
That's right, yeah. I don't know, since I was a young kid, I always wanted to fucking just find different ways to make money. It was always so interesting to me as a kid, like trying to figure out whether it was selling the CDs or starting lawnmower businesses or rapping online or whatever. It was just like, that shit was always interesting to me. You know what it was? I never wanted a boss. And when I was we worked so much in the field, I was like, I'm never doing this shit. I'm never being a laborer ever in my life. I'm going to do shit I love, because by the time I was like 10 years old, or maybe even like 12, I'm like, this is the worst shit in the world. Going to school sucked. Like trying to learn things that they wanted me to learn, trying to do the shit, and like just working in the field. I'm like, this is the last thing I want to do with my damn life. Even if I got to die broke, I am not doing this shit,
Yeah, I do.
I remember being in like 8th grade, and my teacher told me I wanted to be a professional football player, and I remember her literally telling me, "You're from Jerome, Idaho. You'll never be a professional football player." I remember thinking in my head, maybe I won't, but I'll do something that's fucking fun to me, no matter what it is. I remember thinking, my next thought was, maybe it'll be tennis. You never know. I don't know what it was, but I knew, I was like, I'm not doing anything that these people are fucking doing,
Yeah.
I'm gonna chase some dream. I just don't know what it is yet. I knew at the time it wasn't gonna be football, though. In my heart, I was like, I like football, but I don't love football. I didn't know. Now I can look back and be like, oh, it's because there was something else I love more. I just wasn't aware of it yet. you know?
Yeah. When I was in 8th grade, I had a teacher tell me that I was over the hill, because I told her the same thing. That I wanted to be a pro football player, and she's like, "You're over the hill. You're over the hill." By the time people are in 8th grade, they already have scouts looking at them.
Which teacher told you that?
Not Pringle.
Pringles, who told me.
I know. That's what I know.
Toquist?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it was Toquist.
Shit, God, those guys are pessimists.
I mean, I like Toquist. I like Pringle too.
Yeah, but they're pessimists.
But I thought it was funny, and it's funny because I think the same conversation happened with you, and Dad was all taller. You're going to be a gynecologist.
I don't remember him saying that.
Yeah, he's like, if she's not going to let you be a pro football player, tell her you're going to want to be a gynecologist.
I don't remember that at all, dude. That's something stupid Dad would say.
I love it. This is the greatest shit ever.
Oh man, yeah. That's what kind of a crazy teacher is like telling kids, "Oh, you can't do what you want to do." What the hell? That's a Jerome mentality.
It is a fucking small mentality, and it is a weak mentality. I do understand from a realist perspective where it comes from the teacher, but also too, that's not the approach that anyone should take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that you should, speak belief into these kids, speak like life into them. You know what I mean? Like, let them fucking spread their wings to the world and believe that they can do whatever they want, because they fucking can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who are you to tell them that they can't?
The best
I
part-
understand that we live in the world we live in, and, you got to prepare them for fucking, for life. But at the same time, man, who the fuck are you to put any kid down?
The best basketball player ever didn't even make 9th grade basketball team. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
what are they talking about, dude?
I know. It's
You're
funny.
over the hill.
Funny.
What are you talking about?
It's funny.
So, because what do you know about being great? All right? What do you know about being great?
Hey, I guess she was right, because I didn't play pro football.
Yeah, you did something cooler. You're becoming a fucking rap star.
Yeah.
It's way cooler.
I could have
way harder.
played at a high level, so
and,
fuck it.
And way harder. Yeah, if you wouldn't have hurt your back, you could have played at Boise.
Yeah, I definitely could.
Like there was a bunch of who cares about all that, but
I'm glad it's a bless. Things like that are just a blessing in disguise. The universe. My belief is that life didn't want that for me.
of course.
You know what I mean? I have to follow that path where it leads me. You know what I mean? And take action upon what lands in my lap.
Yeah.
And I've done it to this point. I don't know. I remember when we started rapping, it was just I don't know. It just felt right.
Dude, on that note, this is interesting. You know the name Gable Stevenson?
Nope.
So he was 2020 gold medalist in wrestling. He was a 2-time NCAA champion. I think he won gold while he was in college. And as a wrestler, he's a heavyweight stud. The dude he'll come out on the mat and do massive backflips right before he wrestles. And like, he's a big heavyweight kid that's athletic as fuck. Never played a day of football in his life and just got drafted by the Bills. Never even put cleats on. The Bills just drafted him. He actually he was going to go to the UFC, changed his mind, went to the WWE. I don't know why that didn't work out for him. He just didn't want to do it maybe. And the Buffalo Bills just drafted the son of a bitch to play D-end, and he's never, ever played a down of football in his life. His post said, I never even put cleats on. He's not even, dude. So my point is, like, bro, this is crazy that, like, teachers are telling someone that this guy, yeah, he was a great wrestler, but he never played football a day in his life. He just got drafted by the Bills.
How's that possible?
Because he's a stud. Because he's a
They're just like.
I mean, think about it.
Did they
a
have
lineman?
him run a 40 or anything?
He's fast, dude. He's not slow. He's good. Like,
Well, he's clearly fucking athletic
he's
as
fast,
shit if he's big as fuck and he's fucking throwing backflips like
dude,
a wild man.
he's such a, and he got gold. He was a gold medalist in the Olympics. Like, he's a stud. But it's think about what it is to be a D lineman. A lot of hand fighting, a lot of movement. Like, you're just
How
blasting.
big's this guy?
He's like 6'2". 6'2".
What's his weight?
He's probably 280. He's
a little
small for a
small,
D
yeah,
end. He's small for a D end. But I mean, I would take the wrestler all
Bro,
day.
he's got those dudes are. I would, and normally I'd be like, he's so strong from wrestling, he's gonna be able to throw these dudes around. Not in the pros.
No, they're studs.
No, those dudes not
They're
in the
all
pros.
studs.
But if he puts on some size,
Yeah.
with what he
Get him on that
with his tool
sauce.
belt, fuck.
Get him on the sauce.
You know he's on that sauce, baby. You know he's fucking. They're fucking handing him the
Aaron
fucking
Donald's not a big
sheets
guy.
in there.
He's like
he retired.
He's 6'2".
He retired. He's only a year older than me, I think.
Did you see Darren Waller retired?
Who's Darren Waller?
He was the best tight end for the.
what?
Yeah, he plays for the
Didn't he
Giants
get in
now.
some trouble?
Yeah, he overdosed and actually died, and they brought him back to life here recently. He had some heart problems in his room. He's been sober for a long time, but he had like his lungs shut down. He couldn't breathe at all, and fucking.
I like how you acted out.
He called the cops and can't even tell him his address because he can't get words out. Like, he can't even tell him the address. They eventually like pinned his location. He like made it over to the door to block the door and fucking passed out. And the cops showed up like right after he'd passed out, resuscitated him. And yeah, he came out. He's like, I got to retire. This is too much for me.
Holy
but he
shit.
wasn't on drugs or anything. He was just, he's been sober for a long time. He talked about
What caused it?
I don't know. He doesn't know.
Is
That's
he
why he's
just
like, I can't.
anxious as fuck or what?
No, I don't think so. He's just chilling in his house, dude. He doesn't know. That's why he's like, I gotta get away from football. I'm not gonna die like this.
You see, this is a little bit of a fucking digressing, but what the fucking Terrence Howard interview on Joe Rogan was talking about with the vaccines and what it does to your proteins and shit.
I watched the
that makes me think about what happened to the Bills player that fell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot
and
of
there's
sports
other
guys.
athletes that the same type of shit happened, and those guys were talking about that protein causing like mad cancers and like pulmonary embolisms and shit.
Yeah.
And like it's
It's
crazy,
pretty known.
pretty crazy shit.
It's pretty known. There's a lot of data coming out of the UK right now. Just talked about how bad it was. Fauci, the guy that was like the main spokesman for WHO, was like he's being prosecuted right now in court. They trapped his ass in so many lies in the court case. Like they made him look bad, dude.
Really?
Because he's acting like he didn't say we need to have masks and we need to, be.
And then they're bringing up clips from him on fucking CNN.
The lawyers are just trapping him. Like it's kind of crazy. They're going after his ass. But
I saw that other guy that I was showing you the interview of his fucking podcast or talk or whatever when he had that other dude from like CNN or whatever on.
Oh yeah, Dave Smith got Chris Cuomo. He locked his ass
in. He lit him up. He lit him up. But the other guy took it. He took it respectfully.
He tried to weasel his way out of everything.
But he took it respectfully.
Sure.
He had the nuts to sit up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And Dave did actually. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only saw clips. But Dave thanked him for
those
being
clips
there.
are like 10-minute long, and they're fucking pretty interesting, dude. I
Dave
can't believe
Smith's
that guy's a
very
fucking
smart
comedian,
guy.
dude.
I know. Dave Smith's a smart
It's
guy.
crazy how people. This is like, and this relates me back to Terrence Howard, and the same with Joe Rogan. Like when I think of Joe Rogan, when I first thought of Joe Rogan back before, I thought everyone thought of the Fear Factor guy, and then he starts a podcast, and you find out he's a fucking comedian. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit,
they knew him as the Fear Factor guy.
That's what I'm saying. I did. I think a lot of people did. It's
Me
great.
too.
He's like transitioned into. Podcasting was what everyone found out he was a comedian from. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people didn't know. And then obviously his podcast, like it's just crossing. And then Terrence Howard's this actor that fucking broke the fucking universe. Yeah. And then this guy is doing his shit like that. Like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's nuts. Like you don't have to box people in with one.
Yeah, your profession. Go ahead.
One thing, you can be great at a multitude of things, or like interesting in various ways in life.
Yeah, a lot of like specialization is a weird thing that kind of locks people into one path, but it's like there's so many things you can learn in your life. Just because just because the way you make money doesn't mean those are the things you're interested in. A lot of people even say that's what one of the problems with society is, like the people that want to do philosophy are playing the flute. The people that are, want to sing are being plumbers. Like nobody's doing what they want to do in life. So they're deeply unhappy. That specialization just to be able to make money and school kind of points you in that direction because they only have so many options. But when we were kids, there was no hip hop school. There's nothing we could go do to. You had hip hop. You had to teach yourself, dude. You got to go through just like comedy. You got to go through the trials and tribulations of getting on stage and going through the fire. Like you used to say this quote, like that. It would have been easier for me to become a doctor than a money making rapper. And that's not wrong, dude.
No, I'd say that with fucking sincerity.
Yeah,
I would have been able to go to fucking whatever doctor school's called.
Yeah,
and fucking. Become a doctor.
Yeah.
And I could have taken a couple of years to get my ass kicked and still go back and get it done.
Yeah.
And by now, for sure, I would have had some type of success.
Can you imagine Chris being a doctor?
Oh my fucking God.
He would have been a gynecologist.
Let me check it out. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad in there. I think you're fine.
That goes two ways. Spoken like a textbook model narcissist.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, make me lose my train of thought. What were we saying?
Talking about that it's harder to become a rapper.
Oh,
if you think about the number.
No, we've been rapping for like what, 13 years, 14 years?
Yep.
I could have been a doctor twice.
Yeah, I mean,
I could have been a doctor twice by now.
Yeah.
Like seriously, dude. Like no shit. I really, truly cannot think of anything harder than this to become successful at, other than like comedy. I would say comedy would probably be difficult.
If you look
entertainment, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you look at the number of people that try to become rappers opposed to the people that try to become doctors, I bet you in this day and age it's a lot higher, because anybody with a little bit of money that can buy their own studios at home trying to make it right now, putting music out every day, doing the best. Like I know. We're the only successful rappers I personally know.
And we're not even truly like We're successful.
It's paying the bills. At this point, it's barely paying the bills.
I'll tell you, in my mind, my mind's eye, the scope I look at it in, like somebody might view us as successful, but like
I view us as successful.
I believe that I could quit my job and we could be successful.
Yeah.
You know, by
It pays my
financially,
bills.
financially, I could fucking pay my 1-bedroom apartment and get by with gas, food, and keep going to take it to a higher echelon. I could do that from right now, so there is success in it. Yes,
Yeah.
because someone else would say, "Dude, I wish that I was in that place to even be able to say that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am close to actually taking that into action, but we'll save that for another day. But either way, in my mind's eye, like successful, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But we are fucking on our
even today,
way. Like,
even today,
if there was a line, if there's a fucking if this was the fucking path of success and this was the starting point, then I would say we're fucking and this
we're here.
And this is a good
We're here.
this is a good representation too, because the bottleneck, it's hard to get out of this.
Yeah.
It was hard to get fucking past this and out into the open ocean, dude.
Yeah.
And I would say we're right around this fucking pocket right in here, just getting out into the open ocean.
Yeah, I mean,
You know
even
what I
today
mean?
when we get a check from CD Baby today, and I see what it is. It's not only our biggest check, but it's getting to where we could pay our bills with our streaming and album sales purchase. Not even talking about the money we're making from TikTok, not talking about the money we're making from merch. Like, if you wanted to quit your job, we could probably be right there.
If I did,
because it's paying for my bills right now.
And if I did, we could focus more on doing the TikTok shop sales. We could focus on getting brand deals.
True.
You know what I mean? We could focus on doing actual brand new videos to run the fucking shit up to get paid per view.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of ways that we could get paid. Plus shows, we could focus on doing live shows. What are you fucking smiling about?
As it's funny, I was going to tell the people that we had that Tantra conversation in the podcast, and that led to a sex company, after we're talking about the Fleshlight and shit, reaching out, asking us to make some sponsored videos for us, and trying to they want to pay us to make like some videos on Instagram and put it in our link in the bio so that to promote sex toys. After we had that conversation, it's just funny.
What should we talk about to get promoted?
It's funny that even happened,
I've been taking some life cycle mushrooms. They're great.
Yeah.
They actually aren't bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is funny though. Hey, it's a good sign though too. It shows that we're getting some type of look from somewhere to have someone reach out. That's good, because I want sponsorships for this.
We get brand partnership invitations every single day from TikTok. Every single day.
Garbage ones.
Well, they're just they're not ones that are worth our time, but people are trying to get us to promote their products all the time.
Yeah, I like that TikTok shop thing, because if you can get some sales on that, you can definitely make some good money.
Yeah.
And there's some cool stuff you can sell on there. Like some really good products.
On the topic of sports, still with the Gable Stevenson thing, have you heard of Xavier Worthy? The Chiefs just drafted him.
Nope.
So he ran a 40 time faster than Tyreek Hill.
Oh, you told me about this guy.
He ran a 4.21 40, which is faster than...
what's a 4.1?
Dude, faster than Tyreek Hill.
Holy fucking balls.
Faster than Tyreek Hill, and they just sent him to the Chiefs. This kid played for Texas. They got him in the first round. He's a stud, bro. He's so fast. It's wild.
Is he quick?
He's both. I mean, he's running a 4.2.
You can't be fucking slow in any way.
Yeah, you're gonna outrun everybody on the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is insanely fast. How fast is Usain Bolt on a 40?
I'm not sure, but I saw they did Tyreek Hill's. They took Tyreek Hill's speed in college and put it next to a diagram of Usain Bolt running the 100, and they showed where Tyreek Hill would have beat some of the people in the Olympics. He was he would have taken 6th out of 12 or something. So he was clearly a significant distance behind him in a race, 100 yards, but he wasn't that far behind Usain Bolt.
Really?
Yeah, he's fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this kid's fucking fast.
This kid's faster.
This kid's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Lightning.
He's flying, bro.
Wow.
Flying.
I can't wait to watch this guy play.
Me too. I can't wait to see him this year, because they went and tried to find a new Tyreek Hill.
That's
That's
what
what
this
they
kid
did.
from the Bills play.
They literally tried to go find a new Tyreek Hill,
They played some.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be playing with Mahomes.
Oh
my God.
Yeah,
dude.
they needed a good receiver
Fuck
over
that,
there.
dude. Mahomes is like the new Tom Brady. I'm sick of him.
I love watching Mahomes
Sick
play.
of Mahomes. How old is he? 25?
I don't even know, but I remember.
I think it's 27, 28.
I remember having a conversation in the bar. It was me, you, Chris Williams, and a few friends, and it was like his rookie season, and I remember telling somebody like, I've never seen a guy play this good, not even Tom Brady, and everybody got so mad at me. I'm like, I'm telling you, everybody that was with us was like, he's not going to be the next Tom Brady. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be the next Tom Brady. I'm telling you, I've never seen a kid with this much athleticism and this much determination when I watch him play, because I played quarterback. This kid's as good as it gets. And then it's funny since that time to watch it happen. This kid has literally got 3 Super Bowls now and been to like 4 or 5. Like he's a stud.
I think he's been to the AFC championship every year.
Not only
is it every year about one, or
I
every
think
year?
He's made it every year. You
That's
might be
insane. Either way,
yeah,
it's fucking bananas.
It's not
even this year they weren't that good during the season.
No,
they were not looking.
They lost
hot.
to Oakland.
So I was just gonna say they lost to fucking Oakland.
Yeah, it's not just how skillful.
It's funny we just said Oakland because it's Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's not even how skillful he is. That's a big part of it. When he won his first Super Bowl, he said he didn't even know how to read a defense. He didn't even know what he's doing. He's just making plays. The determination when they're behind, it's just like Tom Brady watching him. You're like, if he gets the ball, they're gonna win, dude.
He's out there playing backyard football.
He plays dude. He plays just like a
playmaker. That's almost like a fucking defense.
It's
like a defense cracker though, all on its own, because people are doing all these deep strategies, and he's just throwing to a motherfucker that's fucking. Oh, he's like, get open.
Now think about that.
You know what I mean?
Think about that.
They're like, how we can't react to these guys because they're just doing random fucking shit and they're athletic.
Yeah, think about what it is for him to win a Super Bowl without reading a defense in the NFL is insanely absurd. And then letting him get good enough to start reading defenses, you're in deep shit.
But dude, I would say that's almost more difficult than like if you're playing him and you're like, he's reading our defense, doing all this, adjust to this, adjust to this, adjust to this. But if you're out there like he's freestyling and kicking our ass, I don't know what to do to adjust to this. There's nothing I can fucking do because he's just winning.
Sure, I see your perspective.
You know what I'm saying?
It can't hurt to read the defense and freestyle too.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You're not just textbooking. You can read the defense and freestyle.
I would almost be like, dude, just keep doing that.
Yeah, dude, he's amazing.
Just keep doing that, dude. Fuck it.
He really is. It's I hate when people get so good that people start hating on him, like you're saying, because I'm like, I love watching greatness, and I want to see him just keep winning. I genuinely enjoy.
Unless he gets hurt, there's no doubt.
I want to see him break Tom Brady's record,
especially with a guy like what they just picked up. If this kid pans out. Just one more good one. You got him, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
The receiver sucks from what you say, but you got one more, it sounds like.
Their receiving core is not the greatest.
But if he keeps going, dude, like if he doesn't get injured bad, then I don't see him stopping.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He's just getting to the point where he's like maturing as an NFL player and quarterback.
Yeah.
What is he, like 7 seasons in, 6, 7 seasons in? You get better every season, dude.
Yeah.
You become wiser on the field.
More confident.
Like he's fucking gonna be. He might fucking outpace Brady, dude.
That's what I was trying to say, was that I would love to see him get more than 7 rings, because Brady got 7, right? Did he get 6 or 7? I think he got 7.
I don't know. All I know is I just couldn't stand him.
Yeah,
I love him now.
I would love to see Mahomes go out and break that record. But let's switch topics a little bit. This is interesting to me. I can't believe this is a crazy thing. You know how, like, if we were kids right now, we had ChatGPT at our fingertips, how easily we could write papers and, like...
Yeah, they recognize it at school. They're on it.
When we wrote your thing for for your passport, like, we just got on ChatGPT, asked it to do this for us, and it wrote out the perfect fucking... appeal letter to be able to leave with a felony, right?
Yeah.
So here's what a teacher's been...
did it in like 2 seconds.
Here's what a teacher's been doing, is she calls it the Trojan horse method. And so when she types out the paper to send the assignment to everybody, now it's all digital, so they not text it, but email everybody the assignment. She takes whatever the thing that you would copy and paste into ChatGPT, and she puts the tiniest little white letters that are this big. She calls it the Trojan horse technique, and she'll put, in this paper, write something about a banana and a smoothie in there. And so it'll be about the Civil War, but you can't see the text. You copy and paste it.
Knows.
But when you read through the freaking paper, like, you got a 10-page paper, and somewhere in there it'll mention a smoothie and a fucking whatever other thing I said. And so she can detect who used ChatGPT by using this Trojan horse method, dude.
Because the kids aren't reading over it.
That's good.
The kids aren't proofreading it.
Yeah, they're just like, whatever. That's perfect.
She's like, overnight, these kids just became intelligent as fuck.
Chris DiStefano, you know who he is?
I would be like, don't use big words.
Yeah.
Don't use words past a 5th grade grammar.
You know who Chris?
But a fifth grader probably wouldn't. Maybe, I mean, a smart kid would think of that.
Do you know who Chris DiStefano is? The comedian?
No.
Oh,
I don't know any of these guys are bringing up today.
That's crazy. Chris DiStefano's, he's been on Rogan's podcast. He's all over the place. He's a good comedian. But,
Okay.
he was saying his son wrote this paper about Napoleon that was just epic. It was just like incredible. And he's like, man, I didn't know you know so much about Napoleon. And he's like, yeah, I really put my nose to the grindstone and got that one done. And he's like, well, where was Napoleon from? And his son's like, oh, you mean like originally? And he's like, oh, well, tell me what side of the war he fought on. And he was like, oh, Spain. And he's like, what? You go into details about his battles. Like, well, how do you not know? And he's like, oh, I kind of just forgot it. And he's like, his son just used ChatGPT and wrote this epic paper, dude. He's like, originally?
If those kids were smart, if they found out about this, what this teacher is doing, they just retype it.
Yeah, all you gotta do is reread your paper and take the stuff out that makes no sense.
No, what the teacher sends them.
Yeah.
Don't copy and paste it, just retype it.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's true.
They probably don't know she's doing this, though.
Yeah, and now it's out there, but it was I saw that reel here recently, but freaking interesting.
That is dope, dude.
So interesting.
Smart little teacher, man. It's on these kids. I love chat, whatever. It's fucking chatter. I love the chatter. I do. I really like that, man. I wouldn't have thought before a few years ago, I wouldn't have been into that shit because I was just kind of against technology, like for some immature ignorance.
Yeah.
But I can't get enough of it now, dude. I love immersing into that. I can't wait to see what it turns into.
Yeah. It's one of the coolest things I think I've come across.
We'll be able to do music videos using that.
I mean, not only music videos, like you could code entire programs. Like coding is gone, bro. Like 16 people sitting in chairs for fucking days on end doing coding, reading binary and doing the shit like that everybody told you to go to school for is gone. That it can instantly code in seconds.
Dude, that makes me think about one of the things I want, like Terrence Howard interview. I know I brought it up earlier, but like, what do you think about that, dude? People have asked us about it. Like, I just finished watching it and it fucking was absolutely mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like, and there's one thing I wanted to address about it on the podcast, but overall, like, what do you think about all that?
What I thought about it was, I thought what his ideas that he was bringing in were very interesting ideas, and because I'm not immersed myself into some of the stuff that he's talking about, it's hard to validate it through my own like bias. But I liked what he was saying. I know because I had dove deep into Walter Russell a long time ago that a lot of the ideas he was talking about came from Walter Russell. So that was one thing. But the only thing that threw me off a little bit about the interview was that when Joe would ask him to elaborate a little deeper on some of the things he was talking about, he didn't elaborate that well. And so that set my sensors off a little of like, how much does he really know about this? But I'll tell you what, I was enthralled the whole time. I enjoyed every second of that interview. I genuinely was like, this is dope. And had so much fun. I enjoyed. For me, I just did shut your brain off for whether this is right or wrong and just enjoy it. And that's what I did, and I enjoyed the shit out of it.
It was convincing to me just because of what he had backing it. He had models, everything.
That Saturn model?
The Saturn model.
That right there was
the
amazing.
models that he had for the flight and all the fucking, like, not the DNA things, but the things that he built by hand. Like, all those things and how they all fit together. He's like saying you could build it into the whole fucking universe.
Yeah.
Like, it's convincing to me.
Yeah.
It seems like, and the patents.
The linchpin?
The
linchpin thing that he built?
Yeah, and that was confusing to me. I thought it was super amazing that it could go underwater.
Yeah, we got to see these things built.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, do you think people are going to start moving these
100%.
into, like...
they're going to try.
And he said on that interview that they didn't even cover half the shit he had.
If it's
Joe, obviously you saw it, so like Joe's like, come back. But dude, they didn't cover fucking half the shit. Like, what else does he have?
If it's applicable, people since that podcast are trying all the stuff he said right now.
You think already?
100%, dude. I saw Cat Williams' interview did 20 million views alone on YouTube. That's not including Spotify. It probably did 50 million. Terrence Howard's, I didn't even get to see the numbers.
That's probably the biggest interview. So many people are talking about it.
Yeah, Elon Musk's did like fucking 200 million or something, dude.
Dude, that thing is fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, it's
like
wild.
Changing, like they said it, revolutionary. It would change everything, dude.
Yeah.
It would change fucking everything.
Yeah. I see people on the internet hating hard as a motherfucker.
And that's what I mean. Like, how
calling him insane and narcissist.
Like, where are they seeing that it's wrong? what he's putting out there.
I don't know. Some people said that a lot of the patents that
I
he
don't
claimed
know.
he didn't have,
I'm not knowledgeable enough about this to be like, well, he's like, just look at it. It's right, but it does seem to me like he knows what he's talking about. And the shit he's putting in front of you, I'm like, it seems right. Like,
I liked his theory.
And the fucking the thing he's like, cranes, no more cranes from the flight stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that not amazing?
I enjoyed his perspective on the Goldilocks zone of how planets, or suns, basically shoot out planets throughout time, and you
and it goes
go
away
farther and farther. Like that makes so much more sense to me than a lot of stuff. And again, I don't know. I'm no expert on space. This is just going off of how I feel intuitively on how something would work more harmoniously than like the model we currently have. So who knows?
And I think one of the things that I was thinking about that is as the planets get farther away from the sun, by that centimeter per year or whatever it is, that allows for the adaptation for the whatever he was talking about, like hydrogen to turn into other stuff. I think that would allow for that adaptation to happen for the environment that whatever is living in, while it moves outward. And the gases expand or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would that would allow just enough time to slowly for the creatures to adapt to whatever they're becoming.
Yeah, and that's,
wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I thought a lot of this came from Walter Russell, and he actually named Walter Russell many times in there because he put the quote in there of like Einstein said he wished he studied on his deathbed. He wished he studied more Walter Russell. Walter Russell's whole periodic table of elements are showing it to you the other day. The whole thing is like predicated upon one thing evolving through basically different pressure states, magnetism. It actually involves everything from sex to magnetism to like electricity to gravity to all of it. It's like each element has to do it.
Gravity
it all
would
expands.
be a mistake because gravity's supposedly a draft of electricity.
Oh, I can't remember what he said about that, but my point is like as a harmonious thing, it makes more sense to me. And where Walter Russell nailed his periodic table was like this one thing can evolve into all these things depending on certain circumstances, right? And like just different pressures and things. So it made a lot of sense to me. But again, I had already seen a lot of Walter Russell's stuff. Like me and Carly dove deep into Walter Russell one night specifically, but when I found his diagrams like 5 years ago, I was like, this guy's either the smartest guy that's ever existed or he's fucking nuts. And so I started just literally just staring for hours at these diagrams he has of light and periodic tables and gravity and like electromagnetism. He has in detail understanding of like how these things are functioning that I never saw anywhere else. It puts everything you learned to school to shame.
I've never even heard of the fucking guy before that podcast.
Yeah.
And
Nobody had.
Yeah, I had no fucking idea who he was.
Yeah.
This is one thing, the most interesting thing to me about this podcast, and this is going to get a little weird to the audience probably, potentially, depending on what kind of shit you're into. But this was the most interesting thing to me about the podcast. And it brings me back to things like, and people like channelers and Edgar Cayce. Because Edgar Cayce got his information from like a channeling state and a dream state. He would go into he would dream for people, and he'd come out, he'd have a dream, come out, tell fucking whoever what happened, and it would have some type of fucking
relevance.
Yeah, to their life, and they would make whatever adjustment for their health or whatever, and they'd get healthier, whatever the dream was for them, they would do it and it would help them. So like Edgar Cayce was doing this from a dream state, and Terrence Howard said that he fucking got this information as a young boy in a dream. He was shown a mansion or a palace, because he was asked, what do you want to know or whatever, if you could do anything, and he said he wanted to know how it all worked. And that like begs the question of like, where is this? What is this? Terrence says everything's alive. You know what I mean? So but it just begs the question to me, like, what is happening in these dream states that's showing these people these things that is bringing them into like, and I think it goes back even, throughout time, people will go into fucking dream states and showing something that'll change the fucking world somehow. You know what I mean? It'll be like scientific information, just like what's going on with Terrence. And I think that is just the most insanely interesting shit. And it makes me wonder, like, what is consciousness, and what is happening in the dream state for that to be shown to him to bring into our reality. You know what I mean? It's so interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, and the dream state's an interesting thing. Like since I was like 4 or 5, I've been able to lucid dream, right? Maybe like 6, but like in the dream state, like I can ask questions, like through myself, just ask a question, it will be answered in my voice and a higher voice. Like you can move things around in lucid dreaming, you can fucking teleport lucid dreaming, like God knows what else you can do, you know. Like there's a lot that can go on in the lucidity state, you know. There's something different about it. It's faster paced, it moves different than this state, you know.
Yeah, but I'm very interested in that. When I was in prison, I got a book for astral travel, and you know, and it talked about lucid dreaming as a part of training yourself to become able to astral travel.
Yeah.
It's always been a very interesting topic to me. I've never been able to lucid dream. You know, you'll talk about being able to do it. I've only done it once ever. And when I did it, I was in a dream in my old house. And I realized, oh, I don't live here anymore. And then I had a bunch of people with me, I'm like, shit, this is a dream. So I started acting a fool, and I told everybody, I was like, I just started yelling at everybody because I'm like, I'm in a dream, I can do whatever I want. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And everyone left, and I couldn't get them to come back. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I sat down on the stoop, and you came out on the stoop. And I was like, what? And I was like crushed. I'm like, I thought I could control everything here. What's going on?
Yeah.
You know? But I remember thinking, I'm awake. That was the only time it's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating also to me that I don't know how to get to that place easily.
There's two good ways.
Because I would like to explore that
realm, yeah.
That realm.
Yeah, there's 2 really good ways to do it. I learned it when I was a kid. Accidentally, because I kept having this reoccurring dream where the guy from 5 Goes West, the bad guy in there with
the spider,
the hat, the guy with the hat, the guy with the iguana. He's like, he has a fucking like cowboy hat on. He's like a dick. He would light me on fire in this dream, and it happened to me probably like 20 times. And then one time it happened, and I was like, this has happened before. And I was like probably 6, and I was like, I'm fucking dreaming right now. And I realized, and then I fought the guy, fucking did whatever I wanted in the dream. And from that moment, lucid dreaming started happening more. When I was a kid, after that, but while I'd go to bed, Mom would put us to bed or whatever, and I'd close my eyes and I would just fight as I'm falling asleep, just trying to stay awake as hard as I could. Like closing my eyes, I'm going into dream, not often. I'm just trying to stay conscious, focus, just trying to keep that string of a little consciousness into the dream world, because it goes, dude. Even now, it's hard for me to do that. Like when I'm falling asleep, as soon as I'm trying so hard, and next thing I know, I'm like, oh shit, I was dreaming. I was just having visions, you know, that I wasn't aware of. And so you can kind of practice it like that, but a better way that's like super helpful I've also used when I got older was there's a REM mask you can get, and it has little red lights in it, and so it's battery powered. It detects when your eyes go into rapid eye movement, which is when you're starting to dream, and it shoots a red light into your dream. And so while you're dreaming, you'll just see a red light.
That's what that thing does?
Yeah, you'll see a red light in your dream, and you'll be like, what the fuck is that? And like, after you do it a little bit, you practice for a week or two.
You realize that's your signal.
The red light wakes you up.
Holy shit!
It works too. I have that mask.
You've told me about it. We've talked about me using it. I've never used it.
It's badass. It really works well, but it interrupts your sleep. Right? It's gonna wake you up a bunch of times, because when that red light hits you the first time, it just wakes you up. But after a little while, you start seeing it in your dream, and you realize, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And so you're aware of your body and you're dreaming at the same time. Like you're very conscious that you're asleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, you know, and that's another thing. You have to get good at practicing the idea of like, you know, you're dreaming. And as soon as you know you're dreaming, it almost pulls you back just because you know you're dreaming. But you can simultaneously be aware of the dream and your body as you kind of practice it.
Yeah, it's like a border. It's like a bridge of like, you being like, oh, you can become conscious.
Yeah.
But you can consciously stay unconscious because you're in that place.
Yeah. But even when I'm lucid, like I can fly.
But you have to have the ability to walk that fucking... that teeter-totter of balance.
Yeah, and it'll
mine, I fucking just I go sleep.
Even when you first start doing it, like even now, like I've been lucid dreaming for like fucking almost 30 years, but not all the time. It happens probably like 4 to 5 times a month or something, you know, but when I fly around in my dreams, it's so hard to control it. Like
Is it hard to stay going?
I'll easily float, but it's hard to direct where I'm going. I can move shit with my hands and my mind like nothing. Like I've even consciously literally been like, okay, let's teleport, and like teleported into my closet or moved around or channeled, like asked questions. But flying and getting it directed, sometimes it's so easy. It's seriously, So whoever wrote Peter Pan had a serious thing that was like probably connected to this, because the happy thoughts or whatever, like when you're just in the zone, it has to do with doubt. When you're like,
I was gonna say it has to do with like letting go and relaxing.
You just like do it. You know, it's like it's hard to control the flying, dude. It's wild, but lucid dreaming is amazing. I highly recommend getting those REM masks. They're like, when I bought it was like $300. They're probably cheaper now, but they're badass. They're very worth it if you're interested in lucid dreaming.
We should sell that on the TikTok shop.
Not a bad idea. I can stand behind them. I believe them.
Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. Yeah. That's products we got to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was very interesting about the Terrence Howard interview.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something very appealing to that what that is, dude. How the fuck is something shown to you of this caliber in a goddamn dream?
Dude,
at a young age.
Bro, like when I got here.
And then you can revisit it to see whatever you want. Like, what the fuck, dude?
While you were in jail, I had a lucid dream where I got abducted by aliens, and not aliens like we think. They're like these blue beings that were not even like hominoids. They're like floating fucking like bright blue lights.
You told me about this. Tell them.
No, but the way I got woke up in the dream was like I saw a UFO go by, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And Dad was with me, and I was like, that's a UFO. And Dad's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, Dad, I'll tell you it's going to come back right now. I knew like I'd had this dream before and just completely forgot it. Boom. Next thing we know, the ship beams us up. We're just sitting there, and it looks like we're all sitting in a circle with there's like 8 people there. Dad's wandering around like a fucking drunk idiot's way in other places. I can see him bumbling around over here, but I'm in this thing that's like a soul group, and like this being walks over to me and like sits down next to me and opens up a book and was like, what do you think this means? And there was this glowing diamond, and I instantly knew it. I was like, oh shit, that's love. She's like, yes. And so she flips a couple more pages, and she's like, what's this mean? And it's the same. It was a different symbol, but I was like, that's love too. And she's like, this is what you're learning right now. And so as I'm like contemplating this, I'm fully lucid, and I'm like, who are you? I want to know who they were. Like, what is your race? She leans over to me and she whispers in my ear. I don't even remember the words she said. It tickled my ear so much my ear couldn't handle it, and I was like, oh, it like put my body in convulsions a little bit just hearing the name.
It's like getting your fucking feet tickled.
It was weird. It was like it was too much. My body was like, the words.
Take a piss.
The words were powerful. What?
Go on.
Okay. The words were just so powerful, and it was like it messed with me when I got back in my body. I couldn't go back to sleep. It was like 3 a.m. because there was all the platforms that I was sitting on. There was like infinite ones that way, infinite ones that way. But the ship, when I saw it with my eyes before I was on it, was like maybe like 40 to like 80 yards long. It wasn't big, but when I'm on the ship, there's people literally jumping into the ship as far as the eye can see, both directions, and they're just teleporting into where they were sitting. You could tell was their soul group, and I had like 8 people with me, and I knew a couple of them, but I didn't know some other ones. There was like a DJ playing music up on top, and I asked the chick like, what is this? What are they doing? And she's like, they're not even real. Their whole purpose is just to play music for everybody to uplift consciousness. They're like NPCs just playing music. I'm like, what the fuck? But the vastness of this dream was so big, I kind of understood why if there is extraterrestrials, it would be hard for humans to even understand the infinite nature of the universe. It blew my mind and scared me a little when I was back in my body, because it was infinite. The infinity of this thing that I could see the colors even the colors in the dream I'd never even seen in this life. It was like, I can still picture it in my mind. It's like, it's things I can't even comprehend, but it was like literally mind blowing. It took me days to like reorient myself back into like, wow, the world is so vast, you know?
And this is the thing. I fucking want these experiences, and I never get them.
Can I give you a tip on how it happened to me? A shitload of melatonin.
Oh, really?
I took 10 milligrams of melatonin, which isn't a lot for some people. For me, that's a lot. I'll take like 2.5 milligrams usually.
What's a normal dose?
Depends on who you are. 2.5 is like the usual dose. It goes all the ones I get from Costco are like 5 milligrams, but I doubled it up that night because I really wanted to sleep, and it happened to me.
I'll give it a shot.
Dose up on melatonin.
Melly.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I never get cool dreams like that.
I bet you do. You just don't remember them.
That's probably true, too.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of dreams
Yeah.
from a lot of years.
Yeah.
For one reason in particular.
And we're back.
And we're back again. Thank you guys. Okay.
Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Not in particular.
Okay, I wanted to bring this up, dude. I just
bring
saw
it
this.
on, motherfucker. Bring it on.
So we are going to Mexico, right? We're about to fly out. This podcast won't air till Monday.
3 days after we leave.
Yeah, so 3 days after
4
we leave.
days.
We haven't left yet, but we're going to leave on Friday night, Saturday morning, actually, to go to Mexico. And then I heard this. So Mexico just got, I think it's its first woman president, which was kind of an interesting thing. Then I heard the backstory. So they had 37 different candidates all get killed that were running for president in Mexico. 37 people that were trying to be candidates all died. It's insane, bro. And we're about to go to Mexico, which is safe in Cancun. I've been down there. It seemed like pretty legitimately safe as long as you're in the good parts. But dude, 37 people died running for president out there.
Who would ever fucking run for president again?
Dude, that's probably what they're trying to do. Send a message like, well, the people we want in there are going to be in there.
We own this bitch.
Yeah, dude, 37 people.
Holy motherfucking shit.
I couldn't wait to tell you this all week. I was like, holy shit.
How is that the cartel?
Of course. I would guess.
Dude, that is...
It's insane.
That's some fucking Breaking Bad type shit, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's wild.
If you
man.
wrote that in a script, you'd be like, that it never would happen.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Intense, right?
Well, I'd just be like, I'm just going to drop out.
I don't even know why you would run.
I'm out.
I wouldn't
After
run.
the first 10 died, I'd be like, I'm done.
You guys win.
We're dead, dude. Like,
let them have
no
that
way,
one.
bro.
Let them have that one.
I'm going to America.
Yeah.
I'll go run in America.
Yeah.
They're crooked as fuck up there.
Yeah. You got to let them win that one. They did win that one.
Did they kill them all once?
But I wondered what happened if the girl that won was like somebody that they wanted in there. Or
no shit.
They got to be, right?
Dude, she is the fucking...
I think she was actually
she's
Jewish
the queen,
too. If
dude.
I can
She's
remember right, she was Jewish. She's like a Mexican Jewish lady.
Is that a thing?
I guess so. If I remember right, I think so.
Is Jewish like a race?
It's her race. And
I'm asking a horrible question on the
No,
podcast.
it's actually not. It's one of the only things that's considered a race and a religion.
It's so confusing to me my whole life.
It's both.
What the fuck is it?
You can be Jewish and not
so
study
Jewish is a
Judaism.
people and a religion.
Yeah, you can be Jewish and not study Judaism. You can also be Jewish and not. You can study Judaism, but you don't have to be like of Jewish descent.
So Jerusalem is where the Jews are from.
Yeah, like Jesus was Jewish.
Okay, and they made Judaism.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Like they study the Talmud, the Torah, but it's not just a race. It's also its own religion too.
That's what I'm saying. Where's the religion come from?
What do you mean? Oh well, if you want to go way back,
what's like Jewish people or Jewish people? But they derive their religion from what?
Well,
when?
If you want to know the history of it, is like a lot of the information that was put into the Old Testament as well as the Torah and the Talmud came from like Sumerian texts and texts that were around for a long time. That's why a lot of people think. Actually, Billy Carson just talked about this.
I'm watching the fucking podcast right now.
Yeah,
I just started it.
He just talks about this on there where
they're talking about Sumerian texts right now.
Yeah, and the reason that they think that like in Christianity, the crazy idea of like, oh, the Earth's only 6,000 years old, it's because the text that they found, that they go back, the Sumerian texts only go back 6,000 years. So they're like, that's when the Earth started. Yeah, it's like anyways, but a lot of the information was taken from most of the information was taken from ancient texts, translated, and then they put it into the Torah and the Talmud. Christianity took like a bunch of it out and kept some of it and made the Old Testament. Islam, the Mohammedanism, like the religion of Islam, is like an offshoot of Christianity. So it goes Judaism, Christianity, Islam. They all are just like these monotheistic religions that came from Judaism was first. Christianity took out a lot of it, made its own thing, and then Islam took a bit out of that and made their own thing as well. So it's just a linearity between like Sumerian texts, Judaism came first, then Christianity, then Islam. But they're all.
So what's the Torah and the Talmud?
It's their sacred text.
They were made off the Sumerian text?
It's their sacred text. Actually, when you look into it, it's really weird because it's like it ties into numerology. Each word can be translated into numbers. And it's actually like a very deep, interesting written thing. I'm no expert on it, but you can find codes by the numbers of the letters they use. You can find like Greg Braden breaks this down. I have goosebumps thinking about it. Greg Braden breaks down like the messages you can find by coding these each letter is associated with a number, and so in like Hebrew, and so it's like this actually like multi-dynamic language, and there's like beautiful messages of God in this thing. Anyways, but then Christianity dumbed it down, took out the book of Thomas, they took out the book of Thomas, they took out the book of Mary, they took out like 47 books out of it and made Christianity. They took out the two closest people to Jesus. But Judaism also hates Jewish people can't stand Jesus. When Jesus was crucified, it was because the Romans hated him, and when Jesus came back from Egypt, he had completely was like teaching something beautiful, but he was Jewish, so the Jews hated him for bringing back this new information and being against what they thought Judaism should be, and so they had him crucified.
He was an outlier.
He was Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. But,
yeah, I know, but they were considered an outcast because he wasn't.
To this
He's
day,
like,
they
you're
do
one of
not
us,
like
and you're fucking hating on us.
They don't like Jesus, but it's interesting in Islam. They actually really like Jesus. He's a big part of the Quran. He's in the Quran a lot.
So the Torah and the Talmud are driven from Sumerian texts.
Yeah.
So all this shit is driven originally from those texts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting.
I didn't know that. Okay, so now this. How the fuck do you know this shit?
I told you when I was like 18, I was looking for truth everywhere I could look. I looked in every religion I could possibly find, and none of it resonated with me. I was like, at a certain point, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know. I'm listening to them. I'm the book. Why don't I read my own book? Why don't I be the book and ask myself these questions instead of look for truth somewhere else? I just studied all as much as I could find.
So you just started reading and found this shit out over time?
Yeah, I read everything I could. I went from the Bhagavad Gita to the Tao to Zen to fucking Christianity.
You read these books?
Yeah, I went through the first book. I ran into
the Bhagavad Gita from the monk.
I was walking
right?
I was walking in the freaking in Boise State when I was 18. And I just like stopped and looked over, and there's this bald guy over there, and I'm like, okay, like I kind of got pulled over there. I'm like, what is this shit? Like, what are you doing over here? And he's like, oh, I'm just spreading this word of the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita actually means the song of God, and so I was like, okay, whatever, what do you got here? I just felt generous that day, so I was like, all right, well, how much are there? And he's like, it's up to you. It's your karma. You pay what you can afford, but it won't cost you too much. And I'm like, here's $20, man. Give me that book. And so I fucking went home and I set it next to the toilet. And every time I took a shit, I'd read the fucking book. And, after so many shits, you read the book.
So you retained what you read.
I went through it.
Because when I was in prison, I tried to read the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
For Dad.
Christianity's the same.
Shit didn't sit. Didn't sit in, dude.
The same way when I tried to read Christianity, it was like absurdly boring. I made
but
it.
But you caught this other stuff.
Yeah, but I tried the Bible, but it's so boring. I can't even imagine. Like I don't even. And the parables.
They're talking about cutting off heads.
And actually, in the song, the Bhagavad Gita, it's a story of like Arjuna and Krishna, and like he's going to battle, and like Arjuna is like. There's this one particular scene where this is what made me get away from it. Now I don't know if I would feel the same way actually, but like Arjuna is going to war on the other side of the war is his family. And Krishna says, I don't want to kill my family. And Krishna says, do everything with the spirit of play. Just go into this and go to war and be in the spirit of play. Life is temporary. And I thought, there's no fucking God would say this shit. And so I set it down, but a lot of the things
God would say
lot of the things about the Atman, which is like the soul, right? Is like that's what their term for soul is. Like there's some beautiful things I found in there. Like it directed my life in a way, but there was things I didn't like. And then when I got into Tao, like I started reading the Tao Te Ching was like that's one of the most beautiful books I've ever found. Actually, that book I don't even like. For me, that was the only one I found that I was like, this shit's ill as fuck. Like, it tapped me into me rather than worshiping something outside of me. It tapped me into me. And then
I fucking love that book.
It's a great book, dude. It really is. Like, and it's this small. You could read it in one day. It's
Tell
great.
people how I spell it so anybody that doesn't know
TaoTeching. Tao Te Ching.
And Tao Te Ching.
It starts with a T instead of a D, but it's pronounced Tao Te Ching.
Tao Te Ching.
Yeah. It means the path
way?
it means the path of least resistance or the waterway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, if you guys read that book, you'll fucking love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went down a journey of looking for. I thought that there was truth out there in the world, and I found that it was more important to find the truth that's in me because we are all truth. We all have the truth in us. the truth doesn't require any energy to uphold it, right? Like the truth is just the truth. The only thing that requires energy is like beliefs, and that's what I came to find, is that beliefs and lies require energy for you to uphold them constantly, but like truth requires nothing. The simplicity of truth is astoundingly amazing. You just walk with it. You are it. So it's just a matter of me, and I changed my perspective from like I'm looking in a book for answers, and I realized I am the book. I just have to read my own shit. And so it tapped me into that. But I searched so many religions looking for it. And you always say that. You're like, I don't know how the fuck you know all these things. Like, I don't. I just looked for a while and found they're all not for me, and I found me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that was your path. That was
my
the way.
path.
That was your way of finding. You know, you wanted to discover the spirit, and
Yeah.
you were curious about what everyone else had to say about it in so many different ways.
Yeah, that was one thing. I said this to you the other day, but I was really thinking about if there was a hyper intelligent God, like let's call God the most intelligent perspective that exists, like pure intelligence, understands everything, right? If no intelligent God would ever hide the word of God in a book that other people don't have access to, if there was an intelligent God, he wouldn't put it somewhere that, so let's say it isn't a book, it takes until you're like 20 years old to find the word of God. Like, no, an intelligent God would hide it right in the heart of every single being that exists, and it would be available to everybody from every single moment that you're perceiving and breathing, it's available to you. And so if there really is some source, some God, some consciousness, your nature, your deepest sense that is tapped into everything that is connected to the source, it would always it would always be connected with you, and it would never leave you. And so that's what switched in my mind. I'm like, you would never hide it in a book, you would hide it in yourself, and so it's always discoverable, right? And so like that's the switch for me. It changed from looking for truth to understanding I am the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that shit too.
I do.
I like that shit too.
That's fucking interesting, dude.
Yeah.
I like everything about that.
Yeah. It's beautiful shit to me, but it's funny because, you know, I end up in long wars with people. Like, no, I don't consider them wars, but being able to think about things on my own will always clash with other people's beliefs that feel a certain way, that don't examine why you believe anything. Like, if it exists, you don't need to believe it, right? If it's there, like,
the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. Do I believe? I don't have to believe I can move my arm. I just move my arm. I don't.
Yeah.
So
the truth is the truth. Nothing changes the truth, even if you fucking have a belief about the truth that's false.
Yeah, and all beliefs are founded on the same thing: doubt. Underneath, on the very bottom of every belief is doubt. That's why you have to believe it. You have to reinforce an idea over and over and over constantly through your whole life. You really don't need to carry beliefs around. You can actually sit without them and just navigate life on a open witnessing perspective. Like, what is this? And just look at it without having any idea about it. Actually, that's how intelligence thrives. Beliefs are actually a poison to intelligence. Like, your intelligence thrives when there's nothing in its way, and it can look at things clearly. You know?
Yeah. I think that intelligence is innate, but also is rooted in the heart.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that love is the best path to take on in life, and I think I have that blessing myself, as far as like you know, people go through these things in different manners, as far as like how you went through that spiritually. You're like, I need to know all this shit. And I've always been just kind of didn't care, just know what love is. I'm like Forrest Gump, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
I just know what love is and follow that way.
I get that. I definitely get that simplicity. That's what I'm saying. The simplicity is not carrying those things around. The hyper intelligence of like simplicity is like the deepest form of intelligence to me, just like ultimate simplicity. And so, but to intellectual people, they'll always look down on the simple people, but the simple people are the intelligent ones. The intellectuals are going through a game of philosophy and mental masturbation, and they don't realize every question they think they answer leads to 10 more questions, and that you never get anywhere. The simplicity just allows you to walk through life with fucking a pure heart and innocence, you know. And I don't want to discount the nature of beliefs, because I think beliefs actually control the way you perceive the world. And so if you're going to use beliefs, use them like stepping stones. Let them go when they don't work anymore. Jump into the next one. Use beliefs to serve you in a way of like, it's better to believe I'm amazing than to believe I suck.
You got to treat them like a stock.
Right.
You can't get married to them.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you can't get married to this idea of something that you have to have forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. But I think, again, I really think beliefs are a waste of time. But if you're going to use them, they're powerful. Beliefs are so powerful. They will make people fight wars and kill each other. That's how strong they are. Like, they'll let you take a fucking life because you think you're right. But if you can use beliefs in a beautiful way, so a way that empowers you rather than takes away from other people, now you're kind of cooking with grease. You're cooking with gas. You know, like you use it. If you're going to use it in an intelligent way. But to me, the ultimate level is not needing it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should if you're following the proper beliefs, then everybody's going to be considered.
Eventually, it should lead to where there's no need for belief. Because if you're really looking honestly, usually the question of beliefs is like self-worth, or like it's related around what God is or what the source is. You really want to come to the point at some point where you're no longer believing and you know. And it's not impossible to know your nature. But your beliefs will be the barrier to you knowing, because you're trying to look inside yourself with sunglasses on that don't let you see the actual picture. Your assumptions won't let you see what is. And so at a certain point, use your beliefs till you get to the point till you're ready to make the leap into nothingness. Take that leap into like knowing and really wanting to know. Let the pain of not knowing burn so much that you drop the beliefs and actually look. You know what I'm saying?
They're like stepping stones to the fucking cliffside to
Yep.
where you make your leap of
Everything
faith.
has a path, you know, and beliefs are one path. It's just but at some point you got to drop them if you really want to know.
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, I think so.
There was a couple of things I wanted
Go ahead.
to ask you about. One of them was if you were fucking really unhealthy and just way overweight, what would you do for health? Like, I kind of want to get into that aspect of our viewpoints onto things. We haven't talked about it too much, but for people that are on a lot of medication, just super unhealthy, would like to become healthy. Maybe they're exercising, they're not losing weight. Like, what would you do?
Well, I guess it depends on how far gone you are, but if you're a long ways out there, you got to start with baby steps. You just got to...
Like, if you're from the farthest gone.
Yeah, if you're the farthest gone, it's going to take... you're obviously barely going to be able to exercise. You're going to have a hard time getting yourself off of a lot of foods, because those foods are loaded with drugs. So you're addicted to the food. You're addicted to sugar. You have to... Trying to just jump right into something is like a little too much for some people. Some people are David Goggins and they just say fuck it and they go 100%. Some people need baby steps. So every day, if you can work on something, like one of the best things that I would do if I was in that place was the quickest way and the best and a really healthy way to start losing weight is just if you can get into just eating a lot of fruit. Fruit will fucking just drop the pounds off of you. So it's also energizing. It's electric. And so if you want to start by today, I'm going to do just a little bit of exercise, just a little bit, whatever that is. Maybe it's just walking up and down the stairs 10 times, maybe 5 times. Do that and change your diet. You got to change the habits to where whatever you've been putting into your body has to change. You can still eat some of it, but make like 50% of your diet going to be fruit today. And the most important thing is stop eating around like 7 o'clock. Give your body 3 hours to process the food before you go to bed, so that when you're going to bed, your body's not storing it as fat. If you can go to sleep on an empty stomach, it will allow your body to get deeper sleep and to process and clean out the things. Because when your body's empty, when you go to sleep, your body's processing things. If your body's on empty when you fall asleep, it can work instead of working on processing all the food you put in it, it's clearing up all the things inside of it that are causing you like a sickness, because you're basically in sickness at that point. So like a little bit of exercise, mix in just eat a lot of fruit. You can eat all the fruit you want. That's one thing too that's nice about eating fruit. You could literally eat from the moment you wake up to almost the time you go to bed and just eat fruit, and you will drop pounds like nothing else. Don't let these people tell you, oh, the sugar in fruit's bad. It's bullshit. That it's when it's attached to like the part of the plant that like the carbohydrates some people would refer to them as, that's debated, but when the fiber is intact, it helps the sugar process and not spike your insulin or your blood sugar. So have a little bit. You want to eat all the fruit you want. You can still have decent, if you're going to want to eat shitty, do it in the morning, because your body will have time to process it. Eat a lot of fruit, do your best to like maybe start some kind of fasting. That's what I mean by stop at 7 o'clock, let your body process. If you're going to go to bed at 10 or 11, give it 3 hours at the minimum, and the pounds will fall right off you. You'll also start feeling this. When we did the Dr. Sebi diet, how good did we feel just eating all this? Like we were dropping pounds, which wasn't the greatest, but how good did we feel every day, dude? My mind was clear.
I was fucking energized and felt better than I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And I've been an athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
Been active,
healthy,
my whole life.
I felt really good on keto, and then but when I did the Dr. Sebi diet, I think I felt a little better.
But we were very skinny.
Yeah, it drops pounds off. You need to, if you're gonna. For us, it was different because we did it for like 7 months. We
did it for like 4.
What?
We did it from. I started mine September 26th. September 20. You started the 26th. I started the 27th because the night before I wanted to have milk.
Okay.
So I started the 27th, and then I think I stopped in like January, February. I didn't go farther than February.
I think I kept going a little bit more than you did because I was having some back pain.
Yes, you might have gone.
I
farther
went like
than
at
me.
least 6 months.
You might have gone. I think you did go farther.
Yeah, I was keeping going.
Actually, I think you did go farther. Than me.
I did have some meals in between there that were like different than Dr. Sebi, but I did stay on it for a while. But my point was like the amount of mental clarity, the amount of energy I had. We weren't drinking caffeine. We weren't doing anything. No kratom, no nothing. We were just like totally sober, very clear headed. I felt amazing, and the pounds were just falling off, dude.
Dude, I have no, like people at work. I showed them my fucking abs, and I had no fat on me. I was losing weight, and I wasn't even exercising at the time.
Yeah,
but my fucking abs were literally no fat on them. I could see it was too much, but I could see like the veins in my stomach.
Yeah.
Like not like down here, but I could see them in my stomach. One day these guys are like, let me see your abs. I fucking showed my abs. They're like, holy fucking shit. Are you like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm not even working out there.
What would you do? You asked me that question. What would you do if you were all the way gone?
I would have done the same thing as you, except I would give no room for...
You'd Goggins it.
Not Goggins it. I'm just saying, like, if I'm posing this question to the world and I'm saying, and my answer is, like, the question is, like, what's the fastest way to lose weight? No matter where you're at, the biggest person or just average, even if you're just got a dad bod and you don't want it, you know, you got a little bit of a beer belly. I think the best way would be to eat fruit and vegetables. Just stop eating anything boxed, any processed, anything. Just eat fruits and vegetables. And you know what I mean? And I haven't done the just meat diet, but I've heard that on just those meat diets you'd lose weight too.
Yeah.
But I would imagine those meat diets you don't lose as much weight because you have meat in you. You know, you're like more sustained from a heavy standpoint.
In your body longer.
I don't know what would be more healthy for the person. That would be a whole different debate. Yeah. But my go-to would be just say, eat fruits and vegetables only. Eat organic. That way you don't have a bunch of pesticides on it. Do intermittent fasting while you're doing it. Make sure you don't eat, don't eat fucking 3 hours before you go to bed. Give that window, and the weight will just literally fall right off you. And if you mix exercise in that with some type of consistency, you don't even need the exercise. I guarantee the weight will fall right off of anybody. Mm-hmm. But also, if they mix some exercises in on that, you'll become very, very cut. Yeah. Depending, especially if you're like how we are, if you're like us, a regular person, and you're fairly fit, then you do something like this while mixing exercise in. Like if I did this right now and mixed exercise in, I could tell you I'd be super shredded. Mm-hmm. You're super shredded.
Yeah.
You know. So that would be what I would say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good segment too. I think it's very helpful.
I'm glad that because go ahead.
No.
When I was in prison, I got Dad on that because I saw just his backstory for the people listening. I got on a phone call with my dad, a FaceTime, and I was like, "Damn, Dad, you're big." And my dad wanted me, prior to going to prison, my dad wanted me to read. He's like, "Hey, you want to read the Mormon Bible?" Because my dad's LDS or. I don't know how to. How should I say it?
He's a Mormon. I'm just kidding.
I won't go into all the details, but my dad asked me to read the Mormon Bible. What is it? The Book of Mormon. I always say the Mormon Bible. He's like, it's not the Mormon Bible, but whatever.
Sure.
The Book of Mormon. I told him, I'm like, nah, dude.
Joseph Smith.
I'm like, nah, bro. I got a book. I'm not reading the fucking Book of Mormon. And then when I got into prison, I saw him on FaceTime, and I was like, oh man, like I don't want my dad to fucking die. Mm-hmm. I was in prison. You go through a lot of feelings when you're in there, of like reflection and being like family. So I'm like, all right, Dad. I don't even know how I got him talked into it, because my dad's a fucking hard ass, and he's just like hard to convince.
We've been pressing him to try the
super
diet.
hard to fucking even get to do anything. But I think he could tell just in that situation, I'm like, please just do this, dude. Like, I want you to fucking healthy. And so I told him, I'm like, if you fucking we'll just eat, because we just got off the Sebi diet. I had to change my diet prior to going into incarceration so that I didn't go from the Sebi diet, the most healthy diet on the fucking planet, into prison food and die. So I segued my way out of it for about a month or a month and a half before I got incarcerated. But when I was in there, I just got off that, and I told my dad, I'm like, just eat fruits and vegetables. I promise you the fucking weight will just fall off you. And so I ended up convincing him to do it. And we made a deal. If he just ate fruits and vegetables and nothing else, and I'd read the Book of Mormon.
And Dad dropped like 50 fucking pounds, dude.
He dropped like 65 pounds by his birthday. So this was
in like 2 months.
This was I got transferred from Ada County, where I had this conversation with him. I got transferred on April 13th. So I had that conversation with him April 12th or before. And he, between March 30th and April 12th, I had this conversation with him, closer to April 12th though, and he lost like 65 fucking pounds. My dad was he's like 6'2", about 300 pounds, 305 at the time. He was really big. He lost 65 pounds by his birthday, which was June 1st.
Yeah. One big
fucking insane, dude. It changed. It could have saved his life, dude. Like, that's a shitload of weight.
Yeah. I want to say two things. One thing was, the way you got him to do it was he wanted you to read the fucking Book of Mormon so bad he was willing to change his diet for you to do it. So that's the beginning of that. But one thing I want to mention about work, diet, and losing weight, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. So no matter how much you're working out, if you're eating like shit, it's not going to change. The other part of that is, you got to drop booze. Booze will never let you lose weight. If you're drinking, you got to cut either way down in like one time on the weekend, but you got to cut booze out or you're not going to lose weight.
And that's the thing with me. I'm like, cut it out. Don't even give yourself anything with it, because then you just leave more room for you to fucking fumble and fail and go deeper down this path of booze. Like, oh, I had one, I can have two. It's cool. I've been doing this shit. Oh, fuck it.
It snowballs.
We had a fun time. I have 3 of them. Fuck it. I'm fucking hungover the next day, and now I fucked up.
And now you're going to eat shitty food because you're hungover.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Fuck that shit. If this is something that you are wanting, you're like, oh, maybe it's my time to shine. I'm going to lose some weight. Just cut it out. Just cut that shit out, dude. You don't need it. You don't need it in your life. You don't fucking need it in your life. Your life will only get better without it. And whatever you need to face, booze isn't helping you face. Okay, so fucking face it. And maybe eat healthy, your life will get better, and maybe by osmosis it'll make your fucking wife and your kids and all your loved ones be like, you know what, I'm gonna do that too.
I just had
look at this guy be a fucking G.
I just had an intuition of why you brought this subject up, and I'm gonna ask you when we're done, and I bet I'm right. I just got a picture in my mind. I bet I'm right. I'm so curious.
Whisper it in my ear. No.
Okay. I was like, oh, dude, is that why?
No.
Okay,
not at all. Not at all.
Is there a reason?
No. I just thought about it. I was like,
you should have told me that.
I didn't bring it up for anything.
You're wrong because there's no idea.
I just was like,
I was like, oh, you're saying it for
health,
this person.
I want to talk about health on our shit. You know what I mean? It's we're into health. I love stuff, everything about health. I wish I wasn't beat up because I could do so much.
Guys, we love you. I genuinely appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. Right now, we're only getting 100 to 300 views, and all of you that are the people listening, thank you. We appreciate you so much. It's so beautiful that you even care what we're doing. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for listening.
And I personally hope that this, I don't know how Nate feels about it, but I'm sure it's similar, but I hope that this helps you guys in some way, or, brings you some type of entertainment and have a good time watching us, but also hopefully it raises you up in your life, motivates you and shines a little bit of love in it.
I hope someday that this podcast, people are listening to this exact moment and they're like, there's 1 million views on this podcast now. You know, instead of like, they're like, at one point it was 100 to 300. It'd be cool if it's like, there's 1 million views on this podcast.
Share that shit, motherfucker.
But yeah, anyway, this is Freedom Renegade Radio, episode 8. If you guys want to go to Downpour Digs in Jerome, Idaho, they sponsor this podcast. If you go in, you can get $10 off any pair of boots. It's in Jerome, Idaho, 634 South Lincoln. Tell the owner, Dusty, you listen to the Freedom Renegade Radio podcast, and she'll give you $10 off a pair of boots.
And I would say this is also sponsored by another company, but I can't say that.
Okay.
Because it would just get me in trouble.
Okay.
All
I
right,
don't even know what it is, but I'm not even going to ask. All right. As they say in hip hop, peace, love, unity, and
safely drinking scotch, motherfucker.
Peace, guys. Thank
Have
you
a good
so
day.
much.
Love you.